Leaky gut is not some internet buzzword. It's a very real biological process known as increased intestinal permeability. Your gut lining is meant to act as a tightly sealed barrier, allowing nutrients to pass through while keeping out harmful substances. But when this barrier becomes damaged through stress, poor diet, infections, medications, or toxins, tiny openings form between the cells. These gaps allow bacteria, undigested food particles, and toxins to leak into the bloodstream, where they simply don't belong. The immune system reacts instantly, triggering widespread inflammation that can affect everything from your joints and skin to your brain and metabolism. This process is at the root of so many chronic conditions: fatigue, autoimmune issues, bloating, food sensitivities, and stubborn weight gain. When the gut is inflamed, digestion slows down, nutrient absorption falters, and your body becomes trapped in a vicious cycle of irritation and imbalance. The very system designed to protect you ends up attacking you. The good news is that the gut has a remarkable ability to heal if you give it what it needs. That's exactly what this 14-day gut healing plan is about: repairing the intestinal barrier, calming inflammation, and restoring microbial balance through precise, science-backed strategies. This isn't another cleanse or detox fad. It's a structured reset built on real biochemistry, clinical nutrition, and functional medicine. Over the next 2 weeks, you'll learn how to use food as medicine, support the mucosal lining with targeted nutrients like glutamine and zinc, and reset your immune system by nourishing your microbiome. The goal isn't just to feel lighter or reduce bloating. It's to reclaim your energy, sharpen your mind, and build a foundation for long-term health. Because when you heal the gut, you heal the body from the inside out. The gut is far more than just a digestive tube. It's an intelligent interface between the outside world and your internal biology. Imagine it as a living filter, deciding what enters your bloodstream and what must be kept out. The wall of your small intestine is made up of a single layer of cells, sealed together by what we call tight junctions. These junctions are like gatekeepers, opening and closing selectively to let through vital nutrients, amino acids, and electrolytes while blocking bacteria, toxins, and waste. When those tight junctions are damaged or loosened, the gut barrier becomes porous. Microscopic gaps appear, allowing substances that should never enter the bloodstream to slip through. The immune system immediately detects these foreign particles, bacterial fragments, undigested proteins, environmental toxins, and launches an inflammatory response. This is what's known as leaky gut, or in medical terms, increased intestinal permeability. It's the start of a domino effect that drives inflammation throughout the body. Once inflammation becomes chronic, the effects are profound. You may feel constantly fatigued because your immune system is perpetually switched on, diverting energy from daily repair and regeneration. You may experience bloating and food sensitivities as your gut lining becomes more reactive. Nutrient absorption decreases, leaving you deficient in key vitamins and minerals that support brain, hormone, and immune function. Over time, this low-grade inflammation can trigger autoimmune activity as the immune system begins to mistake your own tissues for invaders. The end result: a body that feels inflamed, tired, and out of sync. The modern lifestyle is, unfortunately, a perfect recipe for leaky gut. Take antibiotics, for example. While life-saving when needed, they also strip away beneficial bacteria that protect the gut lining. Without these friendly microbes, the gut becomes more vulnerable to pathogens and irritation. Then there's sugar, one of the biggest disruptors of all. Excess sugar feeds the wrong kind of bacteria and yeast, leading to dysbiosis or microbial imbalance. When harmful microbes dominate, They produce toxins that further damage the gut lining and perpetuate inflammation. Stress, too, plays a surprisingly destructive role. Chronic stress raises cortisol levels, which directly weaken the integrity of the gut wall. It also slows digestion, reducing the secretion of enzymes and bile acids that help break down food. Add to this alcohol, essentially a chemical irritant to the intestinal lining, and the ultra-processed foods that fill modern diets, and you have the perfect storm. These foods are stripped of fibre and rich in emulsifiers, preservatives, and refined oils that inflame and erode the gut barrier over time. The consequences go far beyond digestion. Research now shows that nearly every chronic condition, from autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's and rheumatoid arthritis to metabolic issues such as diabetes, obesity, and fatty liver, has gut permeability as a key underlying driver. When your gut leaks, your immune system is constantly on alert, producing cytokines, those inflammatory messengers that can travel to every organ system. They can cross the blood-brain barrier, leading to brain fog and mood changes. They can impair insulin sensitivity, promoting weight gain and fatigue. They can even disrupt hormone balance, skin health, and cardiovascular function. In my clinical experience, people often treat the symptoms, joint pain, allergies, reflux, or fatigue, without ever addressing the gut. But until the intestinal wall is healed and the immune system calms down, those symptoms keep recurring. The gut is the first place to look, and often the last to be repaired. That's why this 14-day plan begins by removing the triggers, the very factors that cause the tight junctions to fail. It starts with awareness, understanding what's harming you on a daily basis. Antibiotics, unless absolutely necessary, must be used cautiously and always followed by probiotics and prebiotics to rebuild the microbiome. Sugar and alcohol must be dramatically reduced, as both fuel inflammation and dysbiosis. Ultra-processed foods need to be replaced with whole, nutrient-dense meals, rich in fibre and healthy fats. Managing stress through sleep, breathwork and rest is equally vital, because you cannot heal a gut that's constantly under threat. The goal is not simply to eliminate foods or take supplements. It's to create the right environment for healing. When you remove the irritants and give your body a chance to repair, the gut lining can regenerate, the tight junctions reseal, inflammation settles, and balance is restored. This is the foundation upon which every step of gut healing depends. Remove the harm, and the body's natural intelligence will take care of the rest. The first 3 days of this plan are about one thing: removing what's harming your gut so it can finally begin to heal. Most people jump straight into adding probiotics or supplements, but that's putting a bandage on a wound that's still being irritated. The gut cannot repair itself in the presence of daily assault. So, before rebuilding, we clear the debris. This is your reset phase, 3 days of removing inflammatory triggers, allowing the digestive tract to rest and inflammation to quiet down. Let's begin with the most damaging culprit: refined sugar. Sugar feeds harmful bacteria and yeast that thrive in an inflamed environment. When these microbes overgrow, they release endotoxins, molecules that directly damage the gut lining and trigger immune activation. Every teaspoon of sugar you consume encourages this imbalance, promoting bloating, fatigue, and cravings. Eliminating sugar, even temporarily, cuts off the food supply for these pathogenic organisms and gives beneficial microbes a chance to re-establish dominance. Next comes gluten. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye that, in sensitive individuals, triggers the release of zonulin, a molecule that increases intestinal permeability, even in those without celiac disease, Gluten can loosen tight junctions and promote inflammation in the gut lining. Many people notice dramatic improvements in bloating, energy, and focus once gluten is removed. Think of this step not as deprivation, but as creating a clean slate for your gut to recover. Alcohol is another major irritant. It directly erodes the mucosal lining, the very layer that protects your intestinal wall from damage. Alcohol also increases intestinal permeability, disrupts microbial balance, and stresses the liver, diverting resources away from healing. During these first 3 days, removing alcohol is non-negotiable. It's one of the fastest ways to reduce inflammation and give your gut a chance to regenerate. Then there are seed oils, those cheap, industrial oils like soybean, corn, sunflower, and canola that dominate processed foods. High in omega-6 fatty acids and easily oxidized, they promote inflammation at a cellular level. These oils damage cell membranes, increase oxidative stress, and interfere with the body's natural anti-inflammatory pathways. Replacing them with stable fats, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed butter helps restore balance and reduce systemic inflammation. Artificial sweeteners might seem harmless, especially for those avoiding sugar, but they're a hidden gut disruptor. Studies show that compounds like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin alter the microbiome, suppress beneficial bacteria, and promote insulin resistance. They confuse the body's natural hunger signals and may even increase sugar cravings over time. In this early phase, eliminating them helps reset your taste buds and supports microbial recovery. This process isn't about restriction, it's about creating the right internal environment for healing. As irritants are removed, we begin to nourish the gut with gentle, soothing foods that support repair. Bone broth is one of the best tools at this stage. Rich in collagen, gelatin, and amino acids like glutamine. It helps seal the gut lining and provides easily digestible nourishment. For those who prefer plant-based options, mineral broths made with vegetables, seaweed, and herbs offer a similar calming effect. Hydration becomes essential during this phase. Water supports detoxification, aids digestion, and helps flush inflammatory byproduct from the system. And warm herbal teas can be both soothing and therapeutic. Chamomile helps relax the gut and reduce inflammation. Licorice root supports mucosal healing and cortisol balance. And peppermint calms spasms and bloating. These teas can be sipped throughout the day to ease discomfort as the body begins to adapt. Many people experience a transition period during these first 3 days, a temporary dip in energy, mild headaches or cravings. This is simply your body recalibrating. You're not depriving it. You're withdrawing the substances that kept it inflamed and imbalanced. As inflammation subsides, digestion begins to normalise. Bloating decreases, bowel movements become more regular, and energy starts to stabilise. So, this stage lays the foundation for everything that follows. Without it, the gut remains too inflamed to absorb nutrients or rebuild the protective mucosa. Think of this as switching off the alarm system that's been blaring for months or even years. By removing the foods and habits that trigger inflammation, you allow the immune system to relax and the gut lining to begin its natural process of repair. In just 3 days, you'll notice the difference, not because you've added something miraculous, but because you've finally stopped the constant damage. This quieting of inflammation is the beginning of true healing, setting the stage for the microbiome restoration and nutrient rebuilding that come next. By the 4th day, the inflammation has started to settle, and your gut is no longer being bombarded with irritants. This is when true rebuilding begins. Just like any tissue in the body, The gut lining requires the right raw materials to repair itself. Think of this stage as rebuilding the walls of a house that's been damaged by years of wear and tear. You need the right bricks, mortar, and scaffolding to make it strong again. The intestinal wall regenerates rapidly, with a new lining forming every 3 to 5 days, but only if it's supplied with the proper nutrients. The first key nutrient in this rebuilding phase is L-glutamine, an amino acid that serves as the primary fuel for enterocytes, the cells that make up your intestinal lining. When the gut is inflamed, these cells become energy deprived and begin to weaken, allowing the barrier to fail. Supplementing with L-glutamine or consuming foods rich in it, such as bone broth, grass-fed beef, eggs, and cabbage, provides direct nourishment to these cells, helping them regenerate faster and seal the gaps between them. Glutamine essentially gives your gut the energy to rebuild itself from within. Zinc carnosine is another critical player. Zinc is essential for tissue repair and immune balance, and when paired with carnosine, its healing power is amplified. Together, they help protect the mucosal lining and tighten the junctions between cells. Zinc deficiency is surprisingly common, especially in people under chronic stress or those with poor digestion. Natural sources like pumpkin seeds, oysters, lentils, and pasture-raised meat are excellent ways to replenish it. As the gut lining strengthens, zinc also helps modulate immune responses, preventing the overactivation that drives autoimmunity and chronic inflammation. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in wild-caught salmon, sardines, mackerel, flax seeds, and chia seeds, act as anti-inflammatory agents at the cellular level. Every cell membrane in the body, including those lining your gut, is made of fat. When these membranes are built from omega-3s instead of inflammatory omega-6, they become more flexible, less reactive, and more efficient at communication. Omega-3s also help regulate the immune system's cytokine activity, quieting the inflammation that can reopen those microscopic gaps in the intestinal wall. Including oily fish or a high-quality fish oil supplement during this stage can dramatically accelerate healing. Vitamin D is another nutrient often overlooked in gut repair. It plays a pivotal role in regulating the immune system and maintaining the integrity of tight junctions. Low vitamin D levels are linked to increased intestinal permeability and autoimmune conditions. Getting daily sunlight exposure, consuming foods like pastured eggs and fatty fish, or supplementing under guidance can help restore optimal levels. Vitamin D doesn't just strengthen the gut wall, it teaches your immune system tolerance, meaning it learns to respond appropriately, not excessively, to harmless substances. Beyond supplements, the real foundation of this phase lies in nourishing foods and naturally support mucosal regeneration. Collagen-rich bone broth provides amino acids like glycine and proline, which form the structural framework of the gut lining. Leafy greens such as spinach, kale, and Swiss chard supply antioxidants and magnesium, which soothe inflammation and promote cellular repair. Pastured eggs contribute choline and healthy fats essential for cell membrane health, while colourful vegetables like carrots, beets, and bell peppers deliver phytonutrients that protect against oxidative damage. During these days, digestion should feel calmer and more efficient. Many people notice their bloating decreases and their energy begins to rise, clear signs that the gut lining is becoming more resilient. The mucosal layer, that delicate protective film covering the intestinal wall, starts to thicken again. This layer is your first line of defense against toxins and pathogens, and when properly nourished, it allows beneficial bacteria to flourish while keeping invaders out. At the biochemical level, what's happening now is profound. The epithelial cells are renewing faster, the tight junctions are reforming, and the immune cells embedded in the gut wall are calming down. Inflammation signals decrease, oxidative stress lowers, and your microbiome begins to shift toward a healthier balance. Every meal rich in these healing nutrients is like adding another brick to a stronger barrier, one capable of protecting you from the daily onslaught of toxins, microbes, and stress. This is the structural rebuilding stage, where the gut transitions from fragile to fortified. It's not just about symptom relief. It's about creating a biological fortress that resists future damage. With every nutrient-dense meal and restorative practice, you're reinforcing your body's ability to protect itself. The goal isn't perfection, but resilience. A gut lining so strong and well-nourished that it can withstand occasional stress without falling apart. By the end of this phase, your digestive tract begins to feel less reactive and more stable, a sign that the foundation for long-term healing is finally taking shape. By the second week, your gut lining has begun to heal, inflammation has quieted, and digestion feels steadier. This is the perfect time to move into the next stage, restoring microbial balance and diversity. The trillions of bacteria that live inside your intestines are not just passive passengers. They're an integral part of your immune system, metabolism, and even brain chemistry. A healthy microbiome acts as both a protector and a teacher. It shields the gut lining from pathogens and trains your immune system to distinguish between friend and foe. When this microbial ecosystem is disrupted, the result is inflammation, poor digestion, and immune dysfunction. Modern life has been devastating to the microbiome. Repeated antibiotic use, even for minor infections, wipes out entire colonies of beneficial bacteria. A diet high in sugar, refined carbohydrates, and processed oils feeds the wrong species, the ones that promote gas, bloating, and inflammation. Stress, lack of sleep, and environmental toxins further reduce microbial diversity, leaving the gut vulnerable to invasion by opportunistic organisms such as Candida or Clostridium. To restore balance, you must repopulate the gut with beneficial bacteria and feed them the nutrients they need to thrive. The most natural and effective way to do this is through fermented foods. These are living foods, rich in probiotics, that naturally colonize the gut and crowd out harmful microbes. Enter sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, and fermented vegetables contain a broad spectrum of bacterial strains, far more diverse than most supplements. Each spoonful of sauerkraut, for example, delivers millions of beneficial organisms like Lactobacillus plantarum and Leuconostoc mesenteroids, which help strengthen the intestinal barrier and produce short-chain fatty acids that nourish gut cells. Kefir is particularly powerful because it contains both bacteria and yeasts that work synergistically to promote microbial diversity. For those who are dairy sensitive, coconut kefir or water kefir offers similar benefits without the casein or lactose that can irritate the gut. Kimchi and other fermented vegetables add not only beneficial bacteria, but also antioxidants and phytochemicals that help modulate inflammation and support liver detoxification. Including a small portion of fermented foods with each meal gently reintroduces microbes in a way your body can adapt to over time. Equally important to probiotics are prebiotics, the fibers that feed your beneficial bacteria. Think of probiotics as seeds and prebiotics as the fertilizer that helps them grow. Without prebiotics, probiotic organisms can't survive long-term. Natural sources of prebiotics include garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, artichokes, and green bananas. These foods contain compounds like inulin and fructooligosaccharides, FOS, that selectively nourish the good bacteria such as bifidobacteria and lactobacilli. As these bacteria ferment the fibres, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which calm inflammation and serve as energy for your colon cells. Incorporating both fermented foods and prebiotic fibres over these 3 days helps replant your internal garden. The gut becomes a diverse ecosystem again, capable of resilience and balance. However, it's essential to go slowly. Introducing too many new bacteria too quickly can cause temporary bloating or gas as your system adapts. Begin with a tablespoon or 2 of sauerkraut or a small glass of kefir daily, and gradually increase as tolerance improves. When it comes to probiotic supplements, not all are created equal. Many commercial products contain generic strains that may not survive stomach acid or reach the colon. Look for evidence-based strains such as Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG, Bifidobacterium lactis BB tectis, 12, and Saccharomyces boulardii, which have been clinically shown to support gut barrier integrity and immune regulation. These strains help reduce inflammation, prevent pathogenic overgrowth, and promote the production of beneficial metabolites like butyrate and serotonin precursors. Always choose probiotics that list both strain names and colony-forming units, CFU, and ideally rotate them over time to maintain microbial diversity. It's also important to understand that more is not always better. Taking excessive doses of probiotics without addressing diet and lifestyle rarely leads to lasting change. Real, sustainable microbial diversity comes from consistent exposure to varied, whole foods and natural environments. Gardening, spending time outdoors, and even interacting with pets can help diversify your microbiome. By the end of this phase, your gut begins to feel truly alive again. Bloating lessens, cravings diminish, and your digestion feels smoother and more reliable. This microbial rebalancing also sends calming signals to the immune system, teaching it tolerance rather than overreaction. In essence, you are replanting your internal garden, ridding it of weeds, enriching the soil, and allowing beneficial species to take root. A diverse microbiome is not just a marker of gut health. It's a marker of overall vitality. With each bite of fermented vegetables and each serving of prebiotic fibre, you're helping your gut ecosystem become more self-sustaining. These microbes don't just support digestion, they manufacture vitamins, regulate hormones, and even influence mood. When you nurture them, they nurture you. This is the essence of true healing, restoring harmony to the community of life that exists within you. By this point, your gut lining is healing beautifully. Inflammation has calmed, and your microbiome is beginning to thrive again. But to complete the process, your digestive system itself must work efficiently. Even the most nutrient-rich diet won't help if your body can't properly break down and absorb those nutrients. This stage is about fine-tuning the machinery of digestion, supporting stomach acid, bile flow, and enzymes so that every cell in your body receives the nourishment it needs for repair and vitality. Digestion begins long before food reaches your stomach. It starts in your mind. When you see, smell, or even think about food, your brain signals your stomach to produce acid and your pancreas to release enzymes. But in our fast-paced lives, we often eat distracted, stressed, or rushed, which suppresses this vital process. Chronic stress activates the sympathetic fight or flight state, which shuts down digestion. Food enters the stomach, but there isn't enough acid or enzyme activity to break it down. Undigested food particles then travel into the intestines, where they can ferment, feed pathogenic bacteria, and perpetuate bloating and inflammation. The first goal in this phase is to restore proper stomach acid production. Contrary to popular belief, most people don't have too much acid, they have too little. Stomach acid, hydrochloric acid, is essential for breaking down proteins, activating digestive enzymes, and killing harmful microbes. When levels are low, food lingers too long in the stomach, leading to gas, reflux, and discomfort. A simple way to support natural acid production is to begin meals with a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or a squeeze of lemon in warm water. This gently stimulates gastric juices and primes your stomach for digestion. For those who experience persistent reflux despite using antacids, it's worth considering that insufficient acid may be the real cause. The lower esophageal sphincter fails to close properly without enough acidity. Next, we support bile flow, a key factor often overlooked in digestion. Bile is produced by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. It emulsifies fats so they can be absorbed and also helps eliminate toxins from the body. When bile flow becomes sluggish due to low-fat diets, gallbladder congestion, or stress, fat digestion suffers, leading to bloating, constipation, and nutrient deficiencies in vitamins A, D, E, and K, including a small amount of healthy fat with each meal, such as olive oil, avocado, or coconut oil, keeps bile moving. Bitter foods like arugula, dandelion greens, chicory, and artichoke are natural stimulants for bile production and can be added to salads or taken as herbal tinctures before meals. Digestive enzymes are the third piece of this puzzle. Produced by the pancreas and small intestine, these enzymes break down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins into smaller molecules that can pass through the gut lining. As we age, or if we've experienced chronic inflammation, enzyme output often declines. Supplementing with a broad-spectrum digestive enzyme for a short period can help ease the workload of your gut and improve nutrient absorption. Foods such as pineapple, papaya, and kiwi contain natural enzymes that gently assist digestion as well. Eating habits play a critical role in this stage. Mindful eating is not a trendy concept. It's physiology. Sit down for meals, take a few deep breaths before eating, and avoid screens or stressful conversations. Chew each bite thoroughly. Mechanical digestion in the mouth triggers saliva release, which contains amylase, your first enzyme exposure. Smaller, balanced meals are preferable to large, heavy ones, as they allow your body to process food more completely without overwhelming the digestive tract. Hydration remains important, but should be timed wisely. Avoid excessive water during meals, as it can dilute stomach acid. Instead, hydrate well between meals to keep digestive secretions flowing and to support detoxification through the liver and kidneys. At this point, your body is shifting from a state of repair to one of optimization. As digestion strengthens, nutrient absorption improves dramatically. The amino acids from proteins, the fatty acids from healthy oils, and the vitamins and minerals from vegetables are finally reaching your cells. These nutrients are the building blocks of energy, hormones, and immune molecules. When digestion is strong, the entire body benefits. Energy stabilizes, cravings subside, and even mood becomes more balanced. You may notice subtle but powerful changes: clearer skin, deeper sleep, fewer sugar cravings, and more consistent energy throughout the day. This isn't just coincidence. Efficient digestion means less waste, fewer toxins, and more nourishment reaching your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories within each cell. The gut and the mitochondria are deeply connected. When one heals, the other thrives. This phase marks the completion of your gut restoration process. The lining has been repaired, the microbiome rebalanced, and now digestion refined to extract every possible nutrient from your food. The system is working harmoniously again. Stomach acid breaking down food, bile dissolving fats, and enzymes finishing the job. Every bite you take is now an opportunity for healing, not harm. When digestion functions at its best, the gut no longer drains your energy. It fuels it. Nutrients flow effortlessly to every cell, supporting repair, resilience, and renewal. By strengthening digestion, you've not only healed your gut, but reactivated your body's capacity to absorb life itself through food. This is where health truly begins, when nourishment transforms into energy, and energy becomes vitality. As you reach day 14, your body has already undergone remarkable change. In just 2 weeks, you've quieted inflammation, repaired the gut lining, restored microbial balance, and strengthened digestion. But this final phase isn't about reaching the finish line. It's about learning how to maintain what you've built. Gut health isn't a one-time project. It's a lifelong relationship that requires awareness, nourishment, and balance. The choices you make each day either support your gut or slowly undo the progress you've made. The goal now is to turn these 2 weeks of healing into a sustainable way of living. The foundation of long-term gut health lies in consistency with whole, unprocessed foods. Your intestinal lining and microbiome thrive on variety and nutrient density. Continue focusing on clean proteins, healthy fats, and an abundance of colourful vegetables and fruits. Aim for at least 30 different plant foods each week. This diversity feeds different species of gut bacteria, keeping the ecosystem balanced and resilient. The more varied your diet, the more adaptable and robust your microbiome becomes. Whole grains like quinoa or buckwheat, legumes, nuts, seeds, and fermented foods should remain staples in your diet, offering continuous nourishment to the beneficial bacteria that protect your gut lining. Remains one of the most powerful tools for maintaining gut integrity. Soluble fibres from oats, chia seeds, and flax seeds form a gel-like substance that soothes the intestinal wall, while insoluble fibres from vegetables help move waste efficiently through the colon. This gentle cleansing prevents the buildup of toxins that can irritate the gut lining and feed harmful microbes. Think of fibre as your daily maintenance crew. It keeps everything moving, balanced, and clean. Hydration continues to play a crucial role. Water supports every digestive process, from breaking down food to transporting nutrients and removing waste. When the body is dehydrated, the mucosal layer that protects the gut becomes thin and fragile, making it easier for irritation to return. Begin each day with a glass of warm water, stay hydrated between meals, and include mineral-rich fluids like herbal teas or electrolyte water to replenish trace elements lost through daily activity. Equally vital is sleep, the time when your body regenerates and your gut repairs. During deep sleep, the immune system resets, hormones balance, and the gut lining renews itself. Poor sleep, even for a few nights, can increase intestinal permeability and inflammation. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of high-quality rest, ideally going to bed before midnight. Creating a consistent evening routine, dim lighting, no screens, perhaps a calming tea of chamomile or lemon balm, helps regulate your circadian rhythm and supports ongoing gut healing. Another cornerstone of long-term gut health is stress management. The gut and brain are in constant communication through the vagus nerve, and when stress is high, cortisol rises, reducing blood flow to the digestive tract and slowing repair. Chronic stress alone can undo weeks of dietary progress. Building in moments of calm each day isn't optional, it's essential. Simple practices like diaphragmatic breathing, mindfulness, or spending time in nature can profoundly impact gut function. Deep breathing stimulates the parasympathetic arrest and digester system, increasing enzyme production and intestinal motility. Even 10 minutes outdoors, walking barefoot on grass or sitting quietly under a tree, helps lower cortisol levels and restore balance to the nervous system. As your gut continues to heal, you'll begin to notice ripple effects throughout your body. Mood becomes more stable because the gut produces over 90% of the body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter linked to happiness and calm. Immunity strengthens as nearly 70% of immune cells reside in the gut, ready to defend but no longer overreact. Energy returns, not the jittery burst from caffeine or sugar, but a steady, grounded vitality that lasts through the day. Your body begins to operate with the quiet efficiency. It was designed for digesting, absorbing, detoxifying, and renewing in perfect rhythm. The real victory in this final phase is not just a healthier gut, but a new awareness of how interconnected everything is: food, mood, movement, rest, and mindset. Healing the gut teaches you to listen to your body again, to recognize the signals it gives you, and to respond with care instead of suppression. You'll find that the body is incredibly forgiving, even if you stray. Returning to these principles quickly restores balance. This journey is not about perfection, but alignment, living in a way that continually supports the system that supports you. Your gut is the root of your health, the soil from which your vitality grows. When it's nurtured with the right foods, rhythms, and thoughts, it sustains every part of you, your mind, your energy, your resilience. By healing the gut, you've done far more than repair digestion. You've rebuilt the foundation of your entire body. You've taught your cells how to absorb life again, your immune system how to find peace, and your mind how to feel grounded. This is what true healing looks like: vitality that endures, energy that feels effortless, and a body that thrives from the inside out.